Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be the next installment for the Stars and Strikes series that was created by myself and Julie. Julie is Nobody's Beauty Guru here on YouTube, and I'll link her channel in the description box down below, along with all the fantastic ladies that are doing this with us. This episode is going to be about high-end makeup, just as a general overview of high-end everything. Let's talk about the Stars and Strikes. There are going to be some controversial things in here, I can already feel it. Okay, so let's start as we would do our face. So we'd start with primers. And I've not really tried any high-end primers that were so appalling that I would never touch it ever again. But there are a few standouts that I would purchase. And one of those is the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. It's like a really thick consistency. It's almost like a paste rather than anything else, and you only need a tiny bit. And if you're kind of borderline oily to the point where on some days you could get away with not being matte, don't get this. This is for like oily girls. If you have combo skin, don't get this. Or only put it in the places where you get oily, because the places where you're not oily, this will just suck up every single little bit of moisture and just leave you dry and crepey. But if you have oily skin, you will love this, and I still love this even though my skin's kind of been changing. I can't wear this now with certain foundations, like the Fenty, which is a matte foundation. I can't use this with because it makes me way too matte. But some more natural foundations I enjoy this with. I will use this with those foundations that are either glowy or natural, not matte ones though, because it's really matte. And it stays matte as well. It's not just like you start off with being super matte and then it just wears out. Like, you're super matte for as long as you have your makeup on. Another primer that I want to talk about are the eyeshadow primers that I have enjoyed. And eyeshadow primers that I've enjoyed have been, I enjoyed the Urban Decay Sin, although I'm not a big fan of their new packaging, I must be honest, and the Too Faced Glitter Glue. The Shadow Insurance is okay. I'd rather have the Urban Decay one, but the glitter glue is amazing. And I'd like to try some drugstore ones, like the NYX one and the e.l.f. one, but I don't know if it comes in comparison to this. So somebody who knows both sets of primers, the drugstore ones and this, let me know if I can find a cheaper alternative, but I love this. Bad eyeshadow primers, I've not really met any, not from high-end. I've not really tried a ton of high-end eyeshadow primers, but the ones that I've tried have been good or passable, so I've not really tried any bad ones, luckily. So the next thing then is foundation. My favourite foundation of all time is the Urban Decay Weightless Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Complexion thing. I really enjoy that foundation. I enjoy that it's not too matte. I enjoy that it's not too dewy. It's just perfect for my skin. I'm starting to realise that I maybe prefer a more natural to soft matte finish for my foundation. So there are other foundations now that I feel like I would want to branch out and try. But at the moment, my top foundation is the Urban Decay. A foundation that I didn't like was the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I just found that way too heavy, way too cakey, and it just did not sit right on my skin. It looked scaly almost, to the point where I had a small little sample thing, and I couldn't even finish up the sample. It was just so bad, so bad. I would never ever buy that foundation again, even if they decided to change the formula, which I believe they have. They've not changed the original formula, but they have brought out new things in the line, like they have the light version and now they have a dewy version as well. I wouldn't even try those. I'm like completely scared of trying any more double wear foundations because it was that bad. Concealers, I'm still looking for my favorite concealer in the world, but the Urban Decay one was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good. I understand why people like it. It kind of grew on me. I think in the concealers I said I didn't like it, but that it was basically that it doesn't provide enough coverage. I'd be really interested to try the new one that they have out with the full coverage. If it's anything like the Shape Tape, then it will be my I'm too cheap to pay for import and taxes to pay for the Shape Tape version of the Shape Tape. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that concealer. Bad concealers from high-end, I would say, I don't know if I've tried any. I mean, the NARS one I'm using at the moment, which is okay. It's not, again, it's not wow, amazing. I need full coverage, I think. And the concealers I'm trying at the moment are not full coverage. Give me your full coverage concealer recommendations that aren't Tarte Shape Tape, because getting a hold of a Tarte is just, it's not good. Recommend your favorite full coverage concealers. What about the Kat Von D Locket? Is that full coverage? Should I try that one? I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, yes. So I've tried some good high-end concealers to the point where I understand why people like them. It might not have been 100% for me, but they were good quality. I just wished it had more coverage. And I keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. I'm going to stop now. Let's move on. Bronzer, I enjoy the Hoola bronzer. And I enjoy the Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. And I enjoy the Laura Geller Baked bronzer. It's the fair version. I don't know if I've come across a bronzer that I don't like. I mean, it's hard to say, because there are some shades of bronzer which I would never ever buy, because I'm pale as anything, and buying these bronzers that are considered hyped, I guess you would call it, like everyone talks about them, like NARS Laguna and the original Chocolate Soleil bronzer and some other ones which are really, really hyped up, I would never buy, because I just don't have the complexion for it. So in that context, I guess you could say they would be strikes for me if I spent my money on them because of the shades. But luckily, thank goodness, I've not come across any really, really bad high-end bronzers. Blush. My favourite blushes are the Urban Decay 8 Hour ones, as you know, because I talked about that in my blush thing. I also enjoy the Tarte blushes. I have the Colour Wheel from last year's holiday period. I also have NARS Deep Throat, which I enjoy, and I like the Too Faced Love Flush ones as well. For high-end blush that I don't enjoy, it's hard to say, because, and even when I did my blush strikes, they were all drugstore, I think. Or at least one of them was drugstore. I can think of one blush in my collection right now that I do not like, and it's a NYX one. So, again, like with the bronzers, maybe I've just had really good luck with blush in terms of high-end blush that I'm buying. But I am really, really picky. Again, highlight is one of those things that I have been quite lucky with. One highlight that I was very disappointed with is, and people are going to hate me for this, I don't like the Becca pressed highlights. They're just not, they're not highlighty enough. They're not bam in your face. And that's something that I like. And a lot of people, they say that when they test them out, they're like, oh, that's bam in your face. But I'm like, how are they getting them to be like this? Because when I tried it, and even now, I'm like, need more, need more, need more. So, and I mean, I have a small sample of Moonstone, and I enjoy the shade. It's just not in your face enough for me. Like, Lightscapade is along the similar line. Lightscapade by MAC is along the similar lines, but I really enjoy that highlight because it's on the other end. It's subtle. It's an everyday highlight, but Becca seems to sit in the middle of everyday and bam. It's just like this medium section that I don't want to ever live in. That medium section, I want to live here, always here. And I realize that sometimes you need to be here, but either one or the other, not somewhere in the middle, because I'm just going to keep building it up until it's here. So, having said that, when I bought Moonstone, it came with a little one of these, right? And this is the liquid version of the Becca highlighter. And this is also in the shade Moonstone. It was in like that little duo pack that you can get from, I got mine from Ulta, but I believe you can get them from Sephora as well. I really love this, as you can see. It was right up to here. I've used a ton of this. And I've not used this at all in the past 6 months because I've been focusing on my L'Oreal one. So that's how much That tells you how much I have enjoyed using this, and I will continue to enjoy using this. And if I was to ever get a Becca highlighter again, I would get this version. I don't know, the full size of this is the one with the pump, right? That might be difficult to use to lay down on my cheekbones. So I might have to get a sample size again to get it with the doe foot applicator. That's something to bear in mind, but I would definitely get these again, definitely. And another, while we're talking about Becca, Champagne Pop. Champagne Pop is one of those shades where it was hyped up, everyone had it, and everyone loved it. And you're probably sat there watching this saying, yeah, I have it, and yeah, I love it. When I went into the shop, I went into Sephora and I saw it, and it didn't grab me. And I was like, well, maybe that was when I discovered I don't like Becca highlights, because I was like, well, maybe it's because of the shade. Maybe I need to pick a different shade. And I tried all the shades, and I was like, none of these are really blowing me out of the water. And the bit that sold it for me was when, after I'd been to Sephora and I only bought that one thing, I bought the Tarte Colour Wheel, I went to Ulta the next day. And yes, I picked up the duo pack, but I wanted to try the liquid version, and it just so happened to come with the pressed version. But I also saw the Laura Geller Baked Gelato highlighters, and the one that everyone liked was like honey something. I'll leave a thing to say what it was. And I didn't like that either. And that was purely a complexion thing, because I swatched it and I was like, that's beautiful, but that's way too dark for me. So I picked the Charming Pink one, and it was perfect. And it just, like, it blew those mediocre swatches that I'd had at Sephora the day before from Becca completely out of the water. I was like, yes, this is what a highlight should be. This is what I'm buying. This is what I'm spending my money on. And that's what happened. There we go. So, moving on to eyes then. Eyeshadows, again, I've been quite lucky, because I'm very, very picky where I spend my money. And I've not had yet any eyeshadows that were high end I mean, there are some eyeshadow palettes in my collection I've not tried yet, granted, that I've been disappointed with, or that I would consider a strike. One thing I will say is, and it pains me to say this, is the Too Faced, this one and the Honey one. Not all the shades are bad, but some of them are lacking in pigment. This one, for example, the gold here. This one. And this one. And that one's kind of, not powdery, but like soft and crumbly. But like, I mean, I'm greedy now at this point, because Too Faced have spoiled me with all their other eyeshadows. But it's not the best quality. I'm not disappointed with the palette, but I can understand why people would be. I'm not sad that I have this. I would work with it. I would work with this until it works, because I love Too Faced eyeshadows and I'm very loyal to the brand. But we have to say that you're not going to get everything right. You know, nobody's ever going to get everything right 100% of the time. So one thing that they did do very, very, very well, and if you don't have this, I recommend you get it straight away, is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This is one of my favourite palettes by them. My favourite palette. And it works for everyone. And that is why I recommend that you get it if you don't have it. It is beautiful. And I mean, complete oil and water to what we just swatched. Completely different to what we just swatched. Check that out. Like, this is what I'm talking about, Too Faced. This is what I'm talking about. Can you see the difference? See these four here, and then these three here. It's completely different. And while we're talking then about high-end eyeshadows that are stars for me, and Amanda's going to kill me because she hates this palette, is the Urban Decay Moondust palette. I'm sorry. I love these Moondust eyeshadows. I do. I love the singles. I love this palette. And I don't get what she's saying. Like, she's like, oh, it goes by too quickly. I do not see any dips in any of these eyeshadows. And I have used them more than once. So I just don't... What are you doing to your eyeshadows, Amanda? I don't get what she's getting. So, for me, this is a win. This will always be a win for me. Because, and I guess until I find out that she's right, and then she'll go, haha, I was right, you were wrong. But I mean, they're beautiful. And she said that they are beautiful. Her problem is that they go by way too quickly. And I just don't get that. Maybe worst swatch person ever. I don't know. But I do really, really enjoy that palette. And if you like things glittery, I think you should definitely try it. And I know this was basically like almost the first of its kind. And now you have other things that are out there on the market, which might be slightly better. But I'm okay with my Moondust palette. I don't feel like I need to go out and buy another glitter palette because I love the Moondust eyeshadows. But if you don't like the Moondust eyeshadows, then there are other options out there for you now. Like Fenty just released their Galaxy collection for Christmas. And Huda Beauty's Desert Dusk palette has some eyeshadow toppers on there. The shimmers in there are, from what I can see, amazing. And the Urban Decay have the Heavy Metals palette out now, which is metallic rather than glitter, but you can compromise, I guess. Eyeshadows that I don't like are the MAC eyeshadows. I've come to learn that I don't like MAC eyeshadows. I just find them meh. Meh. I've had better quality from drugstore eyeshadows, and I think that's the problem. If it was marketed as at a drugstore price, then I might get it. And that's probably why they reduced all their prices. Because people can pay $6 for a mediocre eyeshadow, but they won't pay $10 for mediocre eyeshadow. And I just... Even building it up, it's still just meh. It's not... It doesn't capture me. It doesn't... I mean, it's a pretty shade, but it's patchy, and it took a lot of working with, and then on the lids it just gets lost, and I'm just not impressed with MAC eyeshadows. And I'm not impressed with MAC as a brand at all, honestly. Honestly, I'm not. And I know that some of their stuff gets really hyped up, like their lipsticks. And at this point, I'm like, is it even worth trying a MAC lipstick? Because all their products that I have, I'm not a massive fan of. The one exception are the highlighters. I have to say, they're highlighters. Oh, maybe MAC is not the brand for me, I think, is what I've come to conclude. Rather than saying that MAC is bad, I can understand why people would enjoy them. But for me, it's the MAC as a high-end brand is just no. It's one big strike, I think. I think you need to learn when to draw the line in terms of where you spend your money. So, two last products then that I wanted to talk about that are both high-end are these two, and they're the setting products because, oh no, we didn't do mascaras or eyeliners. Okay, so eyeliners is easy. I've never tried a high-end eyeliner apart from the Urban Decay 24/7 ones, and I love those. So, but I have nothing to compare it to. So we'll just say Urban Decay ones, good. We'll give those a tick. Mascaras, I don't like high-end mascaras. I want to try the Urban Decay Troublemaker, which I've not done yet. That's still on my list. And I've not tried any Lancome mascaras. They're still on my list. But the ones that I have tried, Better Than Sex was an 8 out of 10. But I've never tried one that's like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. The one that I'm using at the moment, I need to use for longer because I can't judge on a few applications. Like, I need to see what it's like when it gets drier and stuff. But this is the Ciate Wonder Wand, and the wand is very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. It's in the shade Black Magic, and I'm really enjoying this mascara. Really, really enjoying this mascara. I've said that a couple of times in my makeup baskets. So when this is done, I might get a full size, and then we can determine whether or not it is a good high-end mascara. But until then, I will say I do not like high-end mascaras. Watch this space. Like, to be continued kind of thing. Now we can set our face. Brow products. Didn't talk about brow products. I'm not doing very well, am I? And we didn't do lips either. Lipsticks. I love the Urban Decay Revolution lipsticks. They don't do them anymore, so, but they will always be stars for me. Strikes, I don't like the Gerard Cosmetics, specifically Immortal, the Hydra Matte, because, and Immortal is the only one I have that it does it with, but it peels off, and then you've got like patches on your lips of where the product used to be, and then product where the patches where the product is and patches where the product used to be, and it's the only one that does it. I don't know what they did to that shade, but it is the only one that, maybe it's hard to formulate a red matte liquid lipstick, I don't know, but now we can talk about the setting stuff. No, we've still not done eyebrows. Oh, this is a disaster. Eyebrow products. I've not really tried any high-end ones that I enjoy. I tried the Model Co. one, the brow gel, and it's just meh. I've tried the Pixie brow gel, and I don't really like that. It crispifies things. That's not a word, I just made it up. It makes my eyebrows crispy. I don't like that. So if you don't like crispy eyebrows, don't get the Pixie one. Now we can talk about setting products. I have the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder and the Urban Decay All Nighter. Setting sprays, I've not tried any. Oh, I have. I have tried high-end setting spray. Well, it's not marketed as a setting spray, but people use it as a setting spray. I have the MAC Fix Plus. This is the Strike. This is the Star. I do not like this. This, I find it holds my oils, it holds my makeup, it smells great, the spray is nice, and it just generally is a all-round good product. The Oil Slick one, I find it also works great, but it's not so good for oil control, which ironically is marketed at oil control, that one. But this one works better for my oil control. So I will always get the All Nighter, and they do a cooling one as well for those with dry skin. So there's that. And and setting powders, I really want to try the peach one, because I've heard that consistency is the same as this, except it's white and tastes like peaches. And white and tastes like peaches, and those two things just completely appeal to me. And even though I love this product, if you can get something like this for the same quality that tastes like peaches, I'm going to get the one that tastes like peaches over the one that doesn't taste like peaches. So I'd really like to try the Too Faced Peach one. I've not had a setting powder that I didn't like. I used to have the MAC one, and that was just meh. It wasn't a dislike, it wasn't a like. So I shall say now, for now, that I don't really have any strikes that are translucent setting powders for high-end. I have drugstore ones, but not high-end ones. So that's everything that we need to talk about that's high-end. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit of chaos, but we shall move on to the next video and hope that that one's... Let's just forget that's ever happened. Let's just forget it. Thanks for watching. Take care. I will see you in the next video. Bye.